Yes, sir. Ravens flock, man. Let's go, man. What a win. What a win we needed to against a very good Chargers team. Listen, the Chargers been a team that nobody's been talking about, and they were actually going to be one of my pretenders or contenders a few weeks ago, but I was like, let's see what happens. Still could possibly use them, but man, a good Chargers team, a Chargers team that went in ranked 10 in the run defense, which out of 32 teams is pretty freaking good. But let me tell you something, that foundation of being ranked number 10 fell apart very quickly when King Henry stepped on the freaking field, and he had like a 19-yard gain, then he had a 14-yard gain, and he had an 11-yard gain, all in the first drive for a touchdown. Made it look like it was a joke. He stiff-armed two defenders. I mean, it was just like it was Derrick Henry ball, man. Like it was awesome. I mean, it's just so much fun to watch this big behemoth of a guy come in and play and just do what he does at the age that he does too, because running backs don't have a very long lifespan in the NFL. And at one point they were almost like, oh, they're not that important. We can just find they're a dime a dozen. So King Henry is telling everybody, we're not a dime a dozen. This is why you keep somebody like me. This is why you bring somebody like me. Same thing for Saquon Barkley. Both those men deserve a massive, massive shout out. 17 points.
I just realized he didn't score a touchdown. This is the first game of the season he didn't score a touchdown. I didn't realize that just now. Henry.
Oh yeah.
It's the first game because he's been getting 1 to 2 touchdowns a game every game this season.
I think he had a streak going, right?
Yeah, he did. 17.4 million people watched the Ravens Baltimore game.
Wow.
The Harbaugh Bowl.
Harbaugh.
John remains undefeated against his brother.
3-0.
Which is a beautiful thing, baby, because, hey, I got the good brother. Not saying anything about the other one, but, hey, we were up. It was actually an interesting game because this is a game where J.K. Dobbins gets his get back at us, gets a chance to get his get back at us. And J.K. Dobbins left us, man, because he was just injury prone, man. He was always getting hurt. Like we just not that he was bad or anything. And he started off the game pretty good. He had 6 carries for 40 yards, which isn't too bad. But after a few snaps, guess what happens? Blows out his knee, and he's off the field. Reason why we got rid of him. I mean, incidents happen. I get it. It's just, but man, what Lamar Jackson, when he ran that ball and he hit the brakes and he had the defender fly around him and the defender grabs his hip and twists him in, that reminded me of the clip. And I was trying to find the clip and I just couldn't. It reminded me of the clip when he was in high school. And that's where I fell in love with Lamar Jackson. That high school clip where he's running to the end zone and he hits the brakes and the defender flies in front of him and then he just walks right into the end zone. Beautiful. Just beautiful. When we're on, man, but we are struggling, and it is very hard for me to sit here on my throne and say that we are contenders all the way. We've looked pretty bad this year at some points. Our highs are high, but our lows are very low. This was the Chargers, and this is something that nobody wants to talk about. This is the Chargers' chance to prove, like, hey, we deserve to be talked about here. We deserve to be in contention. Like they have a not good schedule, but they were 7-3 coming into this game. Herbert goes 21 for 36, 218 yards. My boy Lamar Jackson goes 16 for 22, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry carries the rock 24 times for 140 yards. As far as consistency, man, he's just very consistent. He does what he needs to do. We're doing what we need to do. I am intrigued, man, because here we go. We're starting to get towards the end of the schedule. We're starting to get towards the end of the season. We have a very, very tough game coming up against the Eagles. This is
Gonna be
going
a
to
huge
be
game.
a huge game on Sunday. Don't know why it's not prime time in any shape, way, or form. Doesn't make any freaking sense. It's a 4:00 game. Why isn't it moved to anything else? I just don't understand it. It is the freaking Eagles and the Ravens, two top tier teams, two top tier running backs to go at it.
That's gonna be a hell of a fucking battle, man.
It's going to be
Absolutely.
an amazing battle. I cannot wait to watch it. The nice Batman got a nice little catch, that nice little 40-yard drop in the end zone. I mean, who else is making that throw, man? That drop was where it needed to be, how it needed to be. It just needed to be the receiver to catch it, and he caught it. Dude, when I saw who was getting the ball, it was like in slow-mo for me. When I saw when the ball was going, I was like, oh, this bitch is dropping it. Nah, he reeled it in, dog, and he got the tutty, so I'm happy. Great
That was
pass,
clean.
man. It was
That
so
was
clean.
clean.
So clean. It was a great play.
Coach, I want to ask you. There was a lot of penalties called in the Ravens last night. There was a lot of questionable calls.
I think we are the number one most penalized team in the NFL.
Yeah. But there was a couple.
You talked about in the last Ravens vlog about how that's one of the downfalls of your team right now.
Mm-hmm. If we don't clean this up going into, whether or not at this point, I've just accepted reality, and the referees are the referees, right? Some of them good, some of them bad, some good calls, some bad calls. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, if we cannot clean this up, we're not winning. I'm going to be frank. We will not be contenders. We will be pretenders. And I don't understand why that's not a focal point right now. And I feel like it hasn't been because we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. So, yeah, that's just my take on that. I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yeah, that definitely. There was just a lot. Every time they were penalties call, I was thinking, "Oh, coach is probably going nuts right now."
I was, man. This was a pivotal game for us, for both teams. So it's
100%.
not like this was. It's.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say because it's not like it. Like if we lose this game, we're in serious trouble, right? And the Chargers needed to win this game to prove, hey, we are who we are. And they played a hell of a game. It was still close. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it was still a good game. Like it was a great game. Chargers unis loved them, by the way.
yeah.
I love the blues.
I like that.
Love
Yeah,
the
the
blues.
navy blue.
Yeah, love the blues. I hate the baby powder shit. Those dark blues are awesome.
It's one of their old jersey when they're back in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be. It was a very, very meaningful game for both teams. And then this next one going up against the Eagles is not a meaningful game for us. And the problem that I'm going to have is if we come out on top, it's going to be people who are like, oh, well, the Eagles aren't as good as we thought. Oh, Jalen Hurts isn't as good as he is. Or da da da. No, that team is very dangerous. That team is very strong, and they're it's one of the reasons why they're one of the top 5 teams in the NFL right now. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's gonna be definitely a game to watch on coming up on Sunday. I mean, look at the Eagles too. They still have to play you guys, and they have to play the Steelers as well.
Yeah.
So 2 tough within the next 3 weeks. So that's two tough games for the Eagles coming up.
I mean, our schedule is very, very difficult. We have one layup game, and it's against the Giants. But we go we go Eagles, Giants, Steelers, Texans, and then the Browns.
Crazy. So it'll be a good stretch coming down the wire for the Ravens.
Yeah, we have to play top tier football. I mean, I would say we have two kind of easy games, maybe the Giants, maybe the Texans, just because the Texans haven't been playing that great of football. As of recent, they've been struggling. But Browns, they're playing really great football in our division. They're making everybody in our division like, hey, respect us. And they're playing like the team we kind of all thought they should have been, the team they should have picked up from last year. So it's honestly, it's no surprise to me that the Browns are doing what they're doing, because they were still it's still a pretty good team from last year. It's just they had a crappy quarterback. I don't know. Maybe Deshaun Watson isn't him.
I don't know. Time will tell.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for my Ravens flock. Appreciate y'all. Ravens flock, we out.